I am guided by imagination, open to my creation, creating wins and celebrations. Don't be overwhelmed by information, more important than education. Be inspired by your exploration, on the path to your destination, leading to innovation. Yes, you are guided by imagination.
Hello and welcome to the Guided by Imagination podcast. I'm your hostess, Jenny Edwards, and I have the awesome one and only David Corbin. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So for those of you out there that have not met David before, I recently got to see him speak and we connected, and then I got to see him speak again, and it was like, ooh, okay, we definitely need to get you on the podcast. So that's perfect.
Cool.
Obviously, he's a keynote speaker, and he's also written 13 books, and 4 of those have been on the Wall Street Journal and USA Today. So, wow, that's wow worthy. And he also has had 2 big inventions. Maybe you can tell us a little bit, fill us in a little bit more about that as we get to know you more, David.
Well, I can tell you that I am having fun. And my business is about serving and solving problems and figuring stuff out for corporations, for individuals. You know, I do consulting with corporations, but corporations are people. So I do a lot of one-on-one mentoring of executives, some very famous people, some not so famous people. And then when I do my one-on-one mentoring just for entrepreneurs and all, it's it's figuring stuff out. They engage me for what I see and what I know and who I know. And then I look and I say, well, where's there a problem or an issue or a challenge that I could work on? And that's where my inventions come from. And that's where my books come from. It all comes from how can I bless, love, and serve others in different forms. And like I just flew in last night from a marvelous woman's business expo, and we showed our latest invention to some large corporations, to Amazon and to Disney and to others, and it's just a lot of fun. And yeah, I've got these inventions, but it's all about people and serving people and then selling people so that you could further serve people. So that seems to be what I do.
It's a great mantra to have, to filter things about probably what's most important to you, what feels good to
Yeah.
your heart, what's in
Yeah.
alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Like this latest invention, dig this. This is the coolest thing. One of the issues we looked at, because we've had a business for 20 years that puts background healing music, and it's prescriptive. We call it harmonic healthcare, and it's in the public spaces. And we've been doing that for a long time. So in women's imaging, the music is curated for stress reduction. But in surgical waiting, where you could be there for an hour or 4 hours, that music is curated to compress time and space perception. And then in the staff areas, we pump in a little sonic caffeine at 10:30 and 3:30. So we've been doing that, but then we said, wait a minute, the biggest problem they're facing now, and this is even before COVID, is stress, tension, burnout, and turnover with emergency room doctors and nurses. So we had a hypothesis. If we could somehow interrupt that pattern of stress with nature video and nature audio, and we did that. We took it to testing, and it's now in every hospital in New York City, New York Health hospitals. It's all over the United States in government installations and VA hospitals. It's a walk-in, sit-down pod with the nature video and audio. And then we have a kiosk, because after COVID, we had to innovate on the innovation. So we made a kiosk, and that won the International Healthcare Design Award, worldwide for innovation. So it's based a lot on a book that I wrote called Illuminate the Negative, Harnessing the Positive Power of Negative Thinking. And like, I'm a positive guy.
Yeah.
So what's up with this negative thinking? Well, nowhere in the The positive mental attitude literature doesn't say ignore negative issues. And you can't solve everything you face, but you can't solve squat unless you face it. So I teach face it, follow it, and fix it. Face it, doctors and nurses are burning out. Follow it. Why? Well, there's agendas and just the nature of the work they do. Follow it into the future, there's going to be a shortage, and there is. Fix it is our rejuvenation station. And so that's what I do. And I tell your listeners, what are you not facing about your relationships, yourself, your growth, your health, your spirit, whatever it is? What do you need to face, follow it, and fix? And when you get serious about that, boom, watch out.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great framework. And I'm curious because, our topic is about imagination
Mhm.
and and you've also had so many amazing accomplishments in your life. And I'm curious, where did this imagination stem from that has allowed you to create so much in your life? Was it something from a childhood, pastime, a hobby, or where do you think it began?
Well, there's not a child who comes into this campus who is not coming in completely programmed in and loaded up with imagination, the beginner's mind. That we're programmed with that. Unfortunately, we develop these scleras and these opaque things in front of us, and we sometimes we squash or through with our parents, they domesticate us, sit and stay. And so sometimes that imagination is pushed down into the dormant, and then things happen that bring it back up. They feed it, right? It fortifies it and stuff. For me, being an entrepreneur, having to figure stuff out, right? Figure stuff out. That's all about imagination. We ask ourselves, what could, might, should, ought be the next things? What if? It's kind of like with my inventions. What if is the greatest two words you can ask because it spurs the imagination. What if we could reduce the stress? What if we could serve our patients? My previous invention was serving patients in a different way. I won't get into it, but it's all about the what if. What if I had 28 million more dollars, which is what I'm working on right now,
I like
manifesting 28 more million dollars. What if? So in the what if, I'm looking at financial planning already. I'm looking at tax shelters. I'm looking at non-governmental organizations that I could serve and support. I'm looking at people who I know and love, including family whose credit I can suspend and make go away. What if? What if? Imagine it was possible, and then imagine that it's already happened. One of my business
Yeah.
partners wrote a song about that, and yeah, so every one of my inventions happened with an imagination, and the imagination is, what if I could solve for that problem? How and who would I bless? How might I make it happen? What's in it for me, for my karma, my path? Yeah, it's all about imagination, baby.
Imagine $28 million.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yes. I love the idea of also for our listeners spending time in your imagination space.
Hmm.
So, is there anything that you do for your schedule? Because I know you spend time replenishing yourself and, being active. And is there anything that you do that you would also recommend to the listeners?
Yeah. Yeah, I developed something, we know about meditation. Meditation is radical. So prayer is talking to the divine, meditation is listening. And so, when we meditate, when a thought comes in, we're supposed to let it just float away, float away. I think people try too hard when they're meditating, but so I say, no, no, no. I take concentration and meditation, I put it together and I developed something called meditation. And here's how it works. First off, you find a chair in your house that you never use. We all have chairs that we never sit in, right? You find that, and that is your meditation chair, right? So now when you sit down in that chair, there's a switch in your butt that tells your brain, oh, cool, we're going to meditate. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, have a pad and a pen, right? That's number two. Number three, set your watch or your cell phone for 22 minutes. 22 minutes. You sit down in that chair, you have your pad and pen out. Now, here what you do is on top of that pad, you write down the question: how can I attract 28 million more dollars? Or how can I solve for this problem? Or what would be a book that I could write that could bless, serve others? Whatever the question is, or how can I get along better with Joe Schmo? Okay, that's on top of the paper. You put your pen in your hand and you put your hand on the paper. You set your alarm for 22 minutes. You're in your meditation chair. You close your eyes, take some cleansing breaths, and you put yourself in a meditative state while holding your pen, which is on your pad, which is below the question. And for the next 20 minutes or so, you allow the meditation process to happen. And when a thought comes in, you don't push it away. You capture it with the pen on the paper. And you do not open your eyes the whole time. You get better at it, spacing your hand down the paper. At first, it looks weird, like, what does this mean? Don't eat frogs, but you write these things down, and what happens is you download. You download from the divine, you upload from the Shivaya, the God within. You connect in, you tune in, you tap in and turn on, and the alarm will go off. It's not an alarm, it's a wake up now, so that now you can review your notes. And when you do that on a regular basis, um, it's amazing what comes to you.
Mm, yes. Yes, because that imagination space comes from that stillness. I know for me, whenever I didn't know that I had meditated before, but I definitely do that because, things come to mind and I want to capture it, and I've spent some time. I'll have to find a special chair for this now. I love that idea. Thanks for sharing that with the listeners. And also, I'd love to know, how do people connect with you to see what you're up to?
You know, I post a lot on Facebook, and like when my wife and I travel, we like to travel aisles apart, or, pods apart or whatever. And I take a picture and I go, oh, I think that stalker is watching me again. And so now she shows up at events and they go, oh, it's so nice to meet your stalker, right? And I would do a boot camp every Saturday and come out of the ocean with seaweed on my head. And I'd ask audiences, how many of you know about me and seaweed? And all these hands would go up because they see and they connect in on Facebook. So I do a lot on Facebook. And that's if people want to see what I'm doing. I don't do businessy stuff on Facebook. I do zero marketing. That's how much marketing I do. Zero marketing. I've consulted on marketing and I know how to market, but for 40 years I've been a consultant, speaker, mentor, etc., with no marketing. It's all word of mouth, which is the best marketing you could ever do. So on Facebook, I don't market, I share. I just shared yet that I was just at the Westin Lake Las Vegas, where I used to spend 50 days a year with CEO Space lecturing. It's where I met my bride, and I hadn't been back, and now I was there this week. And it was the same place that I met so many marvelous people. I met my wife there and all. And I posted that on Facebook, and all the fellow faculty are coming in and attendees. So Facebook is, and I've got
Yeah.
I got 5,000 people, and I kick some people off and I put
Yeah.
people in.
Replenish. Yeah. That's great. Excellent. And is there anything else that you want to share with the audience? Anything else that we should know about that's
Yeah, here's
coming
what I
up that
want
you're
people to know.
creating or?
I want people to know that they are worthy, that they are perfect, perfectly imperfect, and they are worthy of anything and everything that they can imagine. Imagination. Jenny talks about imagination. You're worthy of it all. And if you were to ask your business or your anything two questions, let's say your business, and you trip out, you use your imagination so that you could hear the voice of your business or your job, and you ask it two questions. One is, what do you need me to do? And you write down those core job functions. And then you ask it, hey, business, Joe, who do you need me to be? And write down the qualities and characteristics. And then, as long as you're freaking out, tripping out, and all not freaking, but tripping, you get naked, but not stripped of clothes. That's the easy part. Stripped of ego. And you rate yourself on your ability to bring it, to deliver on all the core job functions and all the qualities and characteristics. And where you're a 9 or a 10, that's great. Accentuate the positive. But where you're a 2, 3, or 4, the song says eliminate the negative. And I say, no, 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 illuminate the negative. Face it, follow it, and fix it. Close the gaps. Talk to some of your peeps. Hey, how can I get from a 3 to a 6? Go to somebody who's really good in that function and say, I'd love to see how you, and close the gaps. And you're wonderful and you're perfect. It's not enough to sit back. Take some action on closing the gaps and bring up your competence, which brings up your confidence, which then again brings up your confidence, and go up the eensy beensy spider, not up the water spout, but up the spout to fulfillment, success, prosperity, and love. On that, mic drop.
Yeah, mic drop. Yes, I really am in alignment with your message, and I love that you brought up achieving more, happiness, joy, love, and all of these things are possible with using our imagination and how we can really activate it. And thank you for sharing some ideas of how people can activate it, a process that has worked for you, and sharing more about your stories that have helped you achieve so much and help so many people across the world. So, again, I really appreciate you. I want to acknowledge you, David. And I look forward to others reaching out and connecting with you and the possibilities and the unique, let's see, seaweed. And I want to see some of those posts too.
Yeah, yeah. And, I answer every email. Not immediately, because, I'll be on the East Coast in a couple of days. And, starting from here, I live in San Diego. But David at davidcorbin.com is where people reach me. And, I'm always happy to answer questions and help solve problems, because I just found out I'm going to die. And I only have another maybe 60 years left. And so I'm going to turn up the volume on being able to help folks where I can.
I was like, ooh, I kind of I
This
wanted to
just
smile,
in.
and then I was like, maybe I better not smile when he says that. And then when he said 60 years, I'm like, okay, phew, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah. Well, if you don't laugh, you're in a lot of trouble. You get really serious, and
Yeah,
that's what
you gotta make life fun. You gotta liven
well,
it up. If it's not fun, what's the point? Right?
that's it. That's it.
Well, I've definitely had a lot of fun with you. And thank you for bringing the joy, bringing the laughter and the happiness. And I wish you an amazing day.
Yeah, thank you, love. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to activate your imagination and creativity and have more fun in front of the camera with your photos and videos to market your business online or share your message to make a difference in the world, I'd love to offer you a complimentary 30-minute inspiration session, a Zoom room that we can set up and chat about ideas and inspiration to make your day a celebration with Guided by Imagination. Click the link in the show notes.